round of the Tier 2 OBF1 Tier 2 Championship. We're here at El Circuit Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. I'm joined with Marcus tonight.
Good evening.
And what are you expecting to see from these lads tonight?
Well, last race of the season, there's a lot of points up for, or a lot of places up for grabs up and down the field. I'm going to see a lot of desperation from some, and I think we could have a bit of chaos here and there. Not in a bad way, in a really good, exciting end of season way. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I believe
Carnage. I expect carnage.
The championship is still all to play for as well in Tier 2. There is no winner as of yet going into the final round. I think we got a Constructors Champions, but I don't think we actually have a Drivers' Championship winner yet.
No, it looks like we got James Snell leading the way on 165 points, followed by his teammate McLaren dominating by the looks of it. Neil Mozza in second, 158. So there's only 7 points between them. And Kenner with an outside chance, he's got 141 points, so theoretically could win, but it is a bit of an outside chance.
And obviously we've got, surprisingly, we've got a lot more people racing tonight than we would normally. We've managed to fill the grid again for Tier 2. So that's great to see.
Absolutely, yeah, it's very close up and down the field. I'm just looking at the constructor standings. That looks like a pretty foregone conclusion. McLaren over 100 points ahead of Mercedes in second, who in turn are about 40 odd points behind Haas. So that's not an insurmountable amount in this last race, but it is a tall order.
Yeah, but you know, it's Formula 1, anything can happen really. You've seen it in real life.
Well, exactly that. As the late great Murray Walker always used to say, this is Formula 1, anything can happen, and it usually does.
Obviously we've got some new drivers. So, obviously, Ratho is making a return. He hasn't raced for a couple of weeks due to work commitments and stuff in real life. So he's making his return again today. We've got King James, I haven't seen before. He's making his debut tonight in the Aston Martin. I believe he's only a reserve as we're on the final race, and will have a full seat next season. Who else we got? We've seen Genserino last week. We got Hawkpie again reserving on his second race back for us. And there should be some more people because there's 16. That didn't happen.
What are you doing?
Just checking the attendance. There should be 17 drivers. We are missing one. And I think it's... Yes, Aeon. Is it Aeon? No, it's not Aeon. Who are we missing? Invader? No. Unbuild. Is he here? Yes, unbuild. I believe so.
Really, really good to see.
Team Red said he couldn't race.
Yeah, we're not waiting for Team Red, Pete. We're waiting for Unbuild.
Waiting for Unbuild. He said he's on his way?
He has not, so... We'll just do that. He's probably gone to the pub celebrating the fact that Wales have qualified for the World Cup.
Oh, you had to get that in, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Evening pistol, emoji thumbs up.
Mind
Right.
you, it does give a chance of them playing England and getting their asses whooped.
Hey, no, hey. And anything can happen. World
I
Cup
don't even
magic
like
and
football, so I don't know why I'm getting in this argument.
stuff.
He has checked out on Discord. Unbuild. Hey Matza.
And so we got a disco going on in the lobby here.
Here we go.
Right, so we should have 17 still. Unbill's checked out. Super Calgon, he's in. King James, he's in. Super Cal Kenna is
Marcus.
in. Yep.
So we got this Jam Tart. That's who we're waiting on.
Jam Tart.
Interesting name.
I never thought I'd say this, but we are waiting on a Jam Tart.
Right, I need to send him an invite. I didn't see that he checked in, so that's my bad. Very end. Two 214. It's an interesting PSN name. Send friend request, not friend request, an invite. And then hopefully he goes.
And we should be on our way very shortly.
Just mention him in the chat. So we'll wait. I don't know. We'll wait till 7 minutes past if he joins, and then if not, we'll get underway for qualifying. It's going to be interesting to see whether it's going to rain or not as well. That's obviously going to play a massive factor in this race tonight.
Yeah, you quite often get rain around Japan, and those curbs are absolutely lethal.
They're lethal in the dry, never mind the wet.
I know.
Right,
It's an interesting one. And it's one where tyre temperatures play a lot of factor into your pace as well, because it's very hard to keep your tyre temps under control here. And you know, if you normally burn out the fronts, but if you start taking care of the fronts, then all of a sudden the rears start overheating, and then you end up facing the wrong way or in a barrier even.
Something I know way too much about, sadly.
We've all done it. Not one that I've had much
Will
league racing
MR-C-REES,
experience
otherwise
around
known
Japan,
as
actually.
MR-Spin,
I don't
be
know about
spinning
you.
tonight.
Not many leagues tend to run it as a track. It's a shame because I think it's a brilliant track to race around. It was actually the venue of my very first ever league race.
Was it?
It was, yes. Yeah, I remember I was going to do a one-stop strategy, stop early on hards. So I did an early stop to get the undercut, and ended up accidentally putting on the mediums, which on the last year's game was never going to work because the mediums didn't last very long. So I had to pit late on for softs. I was running and I was fighting for the top three, and then after that extra stop, it ended up meaning I dropped down to, I think it was about 9th or 10th, but I managed to make my way back up through to 5th. So yeah, it was an interesting start to league racing, let's put it that way.
It was. We got Jim violating you in the chat as well, by the way.
What's he saying now?
He said, Marcus, ... We didn't ask, fella. That's quite disrespectful, you know?
That is rather, to be honest.
I think you should take him out.
Can we ban him off the YouTube channel?
Hashtag ban little Jim.
Yeah, I think we should get that trending on Twitter.
Oh, I don't know, man. We've already got hashtag ban CDM going.
No, have we? Oh. Yeah. Can we join them together in one? And then really get the ball rolling.
We could. Hashtag ban little CDM. But we are underway for qualifying now, and it is a dry session. question is the race dry as well?
Okay, if any of you are racing tonight and listening into the stream, do let us know.
Also, for you racers tonight, have a good race for the final, and also we got some stuff hopefully planned before the new game, but just have a good race tonight and get some points and don't crash.
Mosher's fan club alive and well in Dublin.
As we wait to see who's the first to go out on track.
We've got Mosher's fan club back. I haven't seen them in the chat for a while, but Neil is back in the chat.
Dry
Mosher's fan
gents.
club, did you say?
Yeah. He's comped in Mosher's fan club alive and well in Dublin.
Oh, fair enough.
So it's nice to see Mosher's got some fans.
Absolutely.
Let's get the track
Nice
map
for a bit
on.
of support. He has currently got the medium tyres fitted, so looking to do a banker run on mediums. As it looks like King James is the first driver out on track in the Aston Martin.
Let's see what kind of lap that King James can set. Obviously, it's just out on an out lap at the minute, but what would you say the strategy is?
I have absolutely no idea what the strategy is.
That is great news. I was hoping for some experienced strategy talk there.
We you expected me to be like a Martin Brundle full of facts and knowledge and insight
Started
alongside
a new
you in
job,
the
so
commentary box
different
this
hours,
evening,
Chief.
I guess. Because you're going to get absolutely none of it.
I was expecting that, but I didn't get it, sadly. But we move. So Marsha's fan club started a new job with different hours. That's fair enough. That's why he hasn't been in the chat. Hope the new job's going well. Don't get fired. That's my best advice.
That is good advice.
It came from the heart.
Hard to stick to, but good advice.
Yeah, it came from the heart as well. Well and truly. So obviously we got a load of drivers out on circuit at the minute. Some still sitting in the pits, but most of the field are out on out laps. Let's hope none of them get in the way and they've got enough space to actually complete their first banker laps with no issues. But we have got King James now, who is about to open his DRS and cross the start-finish line to start his first fly-in lap of the final race for Tier 2. Coming through turns 1 and 2.
Working in a motorcycle dealer's.
Takes not the optimal line through turns 1 and 2, but it's still a decent line. He does get on the curb, luckily not to spin, as we know what these curbs around this S section can do.
You see, you got championship leader James Snell gone for a lap, but he's invalidated right away.
Oh, James, mate. You can't do that, sir. As we got Mank retired from the session already. He looks like he's lost it in the S section of Suzuka. Obviously, he must have clipped one of them curbs I was on about. As King James takes quite an awkward line. Very early apex into the hairpin. That's going to cost him a couple of tenths, but not too much, hopefully. But there's plenty of time to set another lap anyway. Coming onto the long straight now.
It looks like he's pushing quite early on.
It does. He obviously would help if there was DRS on this straight. I don't really understand why there isn't. Probably because there's not a braking zone at the end into 130R.
No. I think it's deemed, certainly in real life, to be a bit dangerous to pull two cars alongside into 130R. On the game, it would probably work quite well because you could get the pass made early.
That is true. He's crossed the line for a 130.9. Sanchez behind with a 133, 3 seconds off the time of King James. Is that a sign of King James's true pace? As Aeon sets a 131.2 on the medium tyres. And there's Invader crossing the line with a 130.5, couple of tenths faster than King James, but not incredibly faster. Could be a close qualifying session, this.
Kenna tops it in the Mercedes. James fastest, not by much. Only a few hundredths in that.
Raytho currently on an invalid lap. He's gone way over the track limits.
Oh, and Kenna has spun it in the middle sector, taking a bit too much curb.
You silly goose. So Neil's now working in a motorcycle dealership. That's his new job. It's a pretty decent job. Who have we got that's going to be crossing the line soon? That hasn't set a lap.
Sanchez coming. He's going to be. Oh, you got Invader coming in. Is it Invader? I think around the lap. I can't see, or Liam. One of the other has just crossed the line. You got Sanchez just coming across the line. Looks like he's pushed on this second lap. See if he can improve. He certainly does. Doesn't move him up any more positions, but he gets himself a bit closer to Mosh. So I think he made an error on that first lap.
Yeah, it's not difficult to make an error around this circuit.
Absolutely not.
You've got to be on it 100% on your concentration around here just to get a decent lap time and not lose it, as we've seen a couple of drivers lose it already. Obviously Mank put himself out of qualifying, losing it.
Yeah, he's going to have his work cut out fighting back through the field tonight.
That is the truth. We got Super Calgon still on a valid lap, but it's on 1:35, so I think he's spun somewhere. And he hasn't even got to 1:30R yet. Is it 1:30R? It is, isn't it?
I'm just watching James on his lap in the McLaren. Obviously feeling the pressure with that invalidation early on. He's going for a second run on these softs.
He's got to take it easy though. He's got quite a lot of ERS. So I thought he might not be burning his he might not be in hot lap mode, but there is no light flashing to say he's not in it. So
absolutely, as he comes down into the tricky braking zone in the chicane, see what he can do through there, nice and neat. Just clipping the curbs, not running over them. You can take a lot of curb through there. Straight line it, and he goes straight to the top of the times. 4/10 clear of Kenna.
That's a great lap there from James. Obviously, he wants to win this championship tonight. It's his last chance to actually win it. It's everyone's last chance for the ones that's in the running to win it.
That it certainly is. It's quite formidable, as we both commented on. We didn't think he was pushing the limits on that lap, so.
And then he tops the time sheets.
Maybe he has more time in him still to go.
That's possible, because it didn't really look like he was pushing, but based on what ERS he had, but he was, clearly.
Absolutely. We'll probably see, we got on a lap. We've got the Ferrari of Raytho, look like he's pushing hard.
He's already been on these softs for 2 laps already, so it's not going to be the most ideal tyre wear for a qualifying lap, but it's still possible to get quite a decent result.
Certainly, he is up by 13 seconds on his previous time, but it looked like he made a big error on that lap.
Especially 30 seconds up. He does go P11.
Certainly does, slots himself just ahead of the Haas of Liam.
And Liam puts himself in 7th now.
Straight away tops himself a bit higher.
And that was on the medium tyres as well for Liam.
Got yellow flags in all 3 sectors. All at once then, that was a bit strange.
I'm seeing that. My track map is only saying, oh no, we got 2 sectors now. Slow moving traffic in sector 1.
Yeah, you got James who's just on top of the times. He's just crawling it back on low fuel mode at the moment. Looks like he was running that very light, that car.
It's got to be done sometimes just to get them extra tenths.
Absolutely, it does make all the difference.
Especially around a long circuit like this, you want the car as light as possible. We got Jen Serino now starting his first flying lap. Took a very wide line into turn 1. That is going to cost him on the straight. But how much is it going to cost him is the question, as he goes through turns 1 and 2. He's going on and off the throttle, which is going to cost him a little bit of time. Takes it very wide through the first part of that S section. It's looking good at the minute. Is Mosh going to get in the way of his flying lap? Mosh trying to get out of the way, but just about. Takes a bit of the curb there. That's alright though. You can take that, a lot of that curb. Hits the apex nicely through there. Takes it a little bit deep into that corner. I've lost count of what corner I'm at, to be honest. Coming through the hairpin.
Don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't. Sanchez just trying to get out of the way. Now onto the long right-handed bend thing. That's the best commentary you'll ever hear.
This is spoon curve now, by the way.
So
I know that corner.
What was it?
Spoon curve.
Spoon curve.
Yeah, because it looks like a spoon.
Well, that's rememberable.
And everyone knows this corner, 130 yard. No idea what the chicane's called.
It's called the final chicane on the track. Gets the traction out. Opens his DRS wide as he crosses the line with a 1:30.3. Good enough for P2. Still not good enough to beat James's time yet. We've still got 5 minutes left. So he has got just about enough time if he wants to push it back to the pits and probably put a fresh set of softs on and go again. But so far, we got Ahmed Shaban, who's only done one race with us this season, and he raced in the first race at the US. I can't remember if it was Tier 1 he reserved in or Tier 2 though. All I remember was he was in the McLaren, and he did crash, and somehow he DNF'd, but his car continued to go around with only 3 wheels.
So you just see King James just put himself a bit further up the leaderboard, up into 6th with a nice lap there. We've still got Pete Pistol Racing to set a lap yet. He hasn't been out the pits as far as I've seen. He's not on a quali ban, is he?
No, I have seen him leave. I have seen him on an out lap, but I haven't actually seen him set a lap, whether he's invalidated all the current attempts of setting a fast lap. But he has been out, but still hasn't set a time.
I'm just riding on board with Neil Moser and the other McLaren, fighting for the championship. Him and his teammate going to be very close, so things could get spicy between the two McLarens this evening. All is to play for. Currently, Neil Moser is lacking on the qualifying. He's currently down in 12th, looking to make amends now.
He was lucky not to invalidate through there as well. Looked like he was very on the limits.
Very lucky to invalidate, yeah. He is currently a second up, so this would see him go up the order, but
he's going to be around
not very much.
P8, I think.
He's bailed out of it.
Straight into the pits.
He would probably rather start outside the top 10 and start on a fresh set of tyres, perhaps mediums.
That is true. Just got an update from Pistol Racing. He hasn't been out, so I was incorrect. He's going out now. He's going out late.
We're imagining things.
There's nothing new. I am Welsh, as you know, so imagining is my best quality.
I imagine you have some friends.
I've got friends, thank you.
Yeah.
I think. I hope.
I'm just watching Marsh come down the back straight, but he's 3/10 down on his best lap, so doesn't look like he's going to improve unless he pulls something mighty through that last chicane.
Yeah.
Does take very nicely, but he is bailing on it, and into the pits he goes.
I'm watching Wraith though. He's 1.1, I think it was, up on his time coming through the last couple of corners. He took 130R very wide, actually went off the track, but somehow did not invalidate. He comes across the line now and puts his Ferrari in P2. So he's only gained 1 place. P12, sorry. He's only gained 1 place, not P2.
I was going to say, I was looking up at P2, I was thinking, no, it's still James. Unless my screen's not updated yet.
Yeah, I was wrong. Again.
I was just looking in terms of manufactured cars. The top 8 drivers all in different cars. First team will be Aeon Blades, who's teammate to Genserino. Everyone else all on their own. No 2 teammates up in the top 8 as things stand. Can anyone change any of that?
I want to correct you on here. Hawkpie is in the Alpine, so there is Alpine in 6th and 8th.
Oh, good spot. My apologies.
I'm not wrong for once. Invader taking a lot of curbs on this lap. He's very low on ERS, so I don't actually think he's doing a lap. I'll say that he is in hot lap mode, but he doesn't have much of the ERS available. It looks like he's on about 5% at the minute.
He's done a few laps. Currently on 3 lap old stuff.
So he's definitely going to be starting on these tyres.
Absolutely, they're going to be very worn.
Obviously, you don't want to wear the tyres too much in qualifying because you want to do as many laps as possible to try and reduce the amount of stops that you actually do in the race.
It probably don't make too much difference as Japan. Somebody's going to bin it in the S sector on the first lap.
Well, we've seen it here before.
A safety car.
As Neil Moser has retired. I think that was in the pit lane based on...
Yeah. So, he definitely wants to start on medium tyres, doesn't he?
He does. He's going to go for the alternate strategy. The question is that alternate strategy going to be good enough to get him up the field? Because you got the top 10, by the looks of it, not by the looks of it, they are going to be starting on softs. Is he going to have the pace on them medium tyres?
So we've got both James and Kenna, both in the first sector, coming to complete their first sector times now.
James currently with a purple sector 1. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, absolutely. This is going to be a almighty battle. Mosh has just gone into 3rd place. A good lap there. So can he get into the mix as well? It's very, very close at the front of the field.
It is. James still up on his best lap time, but not by much. It's only like 9,000ths of a second.
And the clock has ticked down, so if you're not on a lap, that is it for your qualifying.
Oh, I've still got 27 seconds left on mine.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Looks like it might be a red flag situation if that's the case.
We shall wait and see. James comes across the line and goes pole. Can I match him?
Kenna crossing the line now. He's 3 seconds down apparently according to my data. He can't match him.
He is. Oh, and King James is in the wall and binned it.
Where was that? Was that in the S section?
In the S section. I just jumped on board with him. He took too much curve around the left hander and put it straight in the wall. He just completed a lap good enough for P3, which was fantastic news. But then goes and puts it straight in the wall, perhaps trying for a second push lap.
He's going to hope some of these drivers are still on a lap, so he's going to hope none of them take that second row start off him. And as I say that, Mosh has just gone P2. Still on the second row, but it's a possibility someone else could take it off him.
Absolutely, that's another great lap by Mosh. Take it back. Is anyone still on a lap?
Yeah, we've got James. James is in the gravel, so I believe he's just going back to the pits. Ken is on a lap. According to my screen, we got Hawkpie just finishing his lap now. He is up currently. Crosses the line and goes P2. As Aeon Blades.
What a lap. How close is that between him and James?
That
Fantastic
is
lap
close.
There.
That would have seen Hawkpie on pole if he could have had just a couple of thousandths of a second in that. Kenna taking it very aggressively over the final chicane. Comes across the line now with a Oh. Oh, there's a crash. Super Calgon and Ken have just come together, and that's gives Super Calgon a 5 place grid penalty.
I must have missed what happened there.
I was right on board with Ken, and it just like obviously, you know, some drivers like to take the line tight and not go to the outer side track. They want to be by the pit wall when they cross the line. Well, Super Calgon pulled over next to the pit wall and just stopped.
Emoji rolling on the floor laughing.
So I'm sure that one's going to be going to the stewards after the race as we get another Ferrari comes and joins the crash party, and we've got absolute chaos.
Well done, Mosher.
Down on the start-finish straight. I hope they clear that before the race.
Yeah, that'd be ideal if they did clear it, but
Ideally said the grid cause the 5 place penalty is well harsh.
What, approximately 2 minutes to get those cars fixed and repaired for the race? They've got their work cut out, but
that is true, and obviously we got grid penalties now. I don't know if Kenna got one. He hasn't said anything in the Discord yet.
As my lap counter has gone down to 1 and frozen. I don't know about yours, Gil.
I've got 10 seconds left on mine.
Okay, we shall see what happens after that.
0007.
My timing is not in sync with yours then.
Kenna got 5 places.
And yes, there we go.
Apparently Kenna got
a bit ahead
5 places as well. Sorry to interrupt again.
Did Kenna get 5 places as well, did he?
According to Neil, yeah, he did. No, he's still in P4.
No, he hasn't been given it.
So we got P1 James, P2 Hawkpie, P3 Mosh, P4 Kenna, P5 is King James, Jen Sereno in P6, Evada P7, Ratho P8, Pistol Racing in P9, Aeon Blades P10, Liam P11, he's further down the grid than normal. Super Calgon with his grid penalty
sure it
is
said 5 places
P12,
on my screen.
Sanchez P13, Neil Moser P14, Amit Shaban didn't set a time, is in P15, and obviously we got Manku Binder in the S section in P16. So that is your starting order for the final race of the season and for the game. It's going to be an interesting race tonight.
Certainly is. I'm very excited. It's very, very close as well. If you look at the times up and down the field there, everyone is very close to somebody else. So this is going to be a very, very interesting race. A few DNFs in there. Not as many as I thought. Everyone keeping it very clean. So we'll see how the race goes.
And now they're all bunched together. So sorry, carry on.
No, absolutely. Carry on. I was just going to say last race of the season. So
the last
everything
race
is on the line.
The last race, the last chance to win the championship. And they're all bunched together heading into turn 1.
It certainly is. Well, we got one McLaren up on the front row, the other not even in the top 10, but free choice of tyre strategy. How's this one going to play out?
That is true. We have got the first couple of lights illuminated. We've got all 5 illuminated now. English help. And we are away for Tier 2 OBF1 Championship. The finale. James gets off to a great start heading into turn 1. We got 3 wide nearly, I thought, coming into turn 1 just behind. But luckily there was no contact. And it doesn't look like anyone has actually been there coming out of the first 2 turns. A couple of cars on the grass as we head into the S section part of Sector 1. But James still in the lead. A couple of position changes further back down the field though. Sanchez dropped down to 13th. Neil Moser still has gained a place in that as well.
Oh, so we got Sanchez round. Sanchez is round and has made contact with Ahmed Shaban, who unfortunately just collected him. Nothing he could do there.
And that is a 5-second penalty as well. Give it to Sanchez for that.
Oh, that is very unfortunate there. Unfortunately, Sanchez just lost the back end going on the gravel, and the Alfa Romeo just clipped the back end of him. Nothing either driver could do.
Sadly, that happens sometimes, and obviously the games obviously thought that was a penalty-worthy incident, but obviously he lost control, so that might get removed later on, depending on safety car situations and how much time is gained or lost.
Certainly does. We got Aeon Blaze looking at the inside of Invader. Is he going to make a move into the chicane? He's pushing him along all the way down that straight. Bumping him through the chicane. Unfortunately, he's lost a bit of time, and Pete is now having the run at him.
Pete's got the inside line for turn 1, but he might get past just before that. But Aeon looks like he's running a little bit less downforce, so drag helping him stay ahead of Pistol Racing there.
So we've got the Ferrari of Wraitho causing all sorts of issues, and that looks like Aeon Blaze has lost his front wing there. Running into the back of him.
That's going to really affect his race. We've got Super Calgon right on the back of Neil Moser now. James with a great start to the race, second lap in, and he's nearly out of the DRS before the next lap. A couple of cars going wide as well at the back of the field, obviously fighting for position. They're trying to keep that position, but they are making a few mistakes in doing so. Wraitho falling back a bit now. He's lost a couple of positions. He's about to lose another one to Super Calgon. Gets pushed onto the grass. But Super Calgon is now ahead. No, he's not. Wraitho has come back into the spoon curve, as I've been alerted to it being called. Takes it very wide though on the apex. Got a little bit loose as well. Car twitching coming out of the exit. And Wraitho has managed to keep Super Calgon at bay for now. We're going to go back up to the front of the grid now as we got Kenna.
Got a great battle for second.
As fastest laps are getting thrown about everywhere. I think it stopped at Kenna though, as he is right on the attack of Mosh. Is he going to be able to get past at any point before the next DRS zone, which is... Where is the next DRS zone?
That is the only DRS zone.
We only have one here. I've completely forgot about that. We got Invader is out of the race. He has lost it in the S section in Sector 1.
And it is a VSC.
So we have got a VSC. It's not a full course safety car, but we have got the full course yellow, which is going to neutralize.
We'll have to see how long that stays out for. That could tempt a couple of drivers to come in and put on maybe the hards, go to the end of the race, save a bit of time. Personally, I don't think it's really worth it.
No, we're already...
hards aren't a great tyre.
Especially not in this game. I don't know what they've done, but the hards don't feel too great. Hopefully in the next game, though, they've changed the handling and physics models.
Suzuka Carnage.
So maybe the hard tyres will actually feel a bit better.
Absolutely, as the hard tyres are the preferential choice for 90% of teams and drivers in most races, if you watch the real life F1.
So hopefully they've managed to sort that hard tyre out in game, and maybe it's a possibility for strategies on league races.
Absolutely,
next year.
I think they, going from last year's game to this year's game, they made the mediums. Oh, Kenna's got a 5-second penalty for collision with Marsh, and Kenna has gone down. Has he got wing damage?
Where is Kenna? Kenna,
he's in the pits. Yeah, he's got wing damage. So he's obviously run into the back of Mosh by mistake then. And has been given a penalty and got wing damage for his trouble.
That's unfortunate for him. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe Mosh broke a little bit early or something, or...
Yeah, potentially. We'll have to see that. That may end up being in the stewards after. But I saw Super Calgon got a drive-through penalty as well, unfortunately, coming off the back of that.
So he was speeding through that VSC, and I think he was just trying to get a good start, and he just messed it up a bit. He is the biggest gainer so far, but he's going to drop back down the order with that drive-through, and also the fact he will need to stop again at some point.
Absolutely.
But James currently sitting out of DRS at the minute of Hawkeye, so Hawkeye will not have DRS unless he can gain 3/10 before the detection point. So tough ask, considering how far back he is. He's not using his overtake, so he won't have DRS. And he's got Mosh on his tail as well, so... Obviously, the VSC does not deactivate the DRS. It's only the safety car that does that. Or if we see some rain, which I don't think we are going to see.
Gone very deep into the chicane there.
He did this,
and he is going to be very vulnerable from attack here.
Mosh had a great exit. It looked like he could have pulled that overtake on without the DRS, but he has got past cleanly and is now on the hunt for James. He is 1.2 behind, 1.3 now. And 1.2 again. Thanks, timing data, for making me look stupid.
Yeah.
As we got Amateur Ban, who's gone over the track limits 3 times already, got 2 warnings and now a penalty.
I think soft medium is the wide to go.
So I've just been having a look
on the
at
2020 game,
tyre
I believe.
situation. Neil Moser, I didn't realise he started on soft, so he clearly seemed to want to start outside the top 10, but didn't feel like it was an advantage to start on medium. So a bit of a puzzling one there, but unfortunately not doing so well. He's currently 13 seconds behind 10th place Sanchez, so the championship is looking like it's swinging in James's favour right now.
And James will be happy about that. And is the construct? Did we just say that the constructors were won already? Or?
That was
that was one ages ago by the looks of it. Yeah. But little Jim thinking the strategy is going to be a soft medium. It was on the 2020 game, he said. But obviously,
yeah.
Obviously, it's a bit difficult to compare to the 2 games, really, because tyre wear is increased, I think, on this game based on the fact that there's less downforce.
I think tyre wear overall, you're able to run the tyres for longer, but you do drop off a bit earlier on the tyres on this game. And I think I was sort of alluding to earlier before the VSC that the mediums tend to be a very quick tyre and they last for a long time, but the hards are just too slow in comparison, so they just offset them a little wrong, I would say.
Yeah.
As we got Pete round in the first sector. Pistol Racing has spun it.
He was trying to make a move on Amateur Ban. I seen it on the timing screen. I didn't see the incident, but he was around trying to overtake through that section. I've seen them switch places and then they switched back.
Whether there was contact between the 2 drivers, we unfortunately missed that one.
But it's either contact or Pete just got on a curb and spun himself.
It could be easily done.
Especially around this circuit. These curbs through that first section are quite deadly. I mean, I like the fact that they are like that, because it's kind of realistic considering the size of them and how much it offsets the car. But we got Hawkeye now trying to make a move on Mosh in the DRS zone. Obviously Hawkeye lost the position to Mosh earlier on, a couple of laps ago.
I hope Marcus spins today.
And he is going for the inside line. He flies through turn 1 ahead, stays ahead, and makes the move stick on Mosh. That means Mosh has dropped down 2 P3. Still fighting for a podium, though. And he's got Liam catching 1.6, who did start... I think he started outside the top 10, Liam. No, he started 9th, didn't he? And now he's up to P4.
He's gone up 7 places, which is a great return. A great opening stint of the race for Liam.
Obviously, Liam, we expected Liam to be at the top of the field, like he was at the start of the season, and he is there again now. Mosh trying to get that position back on Hawkeye. These 2 fighting is really helping James with this championship. 2 seconds again.
Yeah, only a lap or so ago it was about 1.2 seconds, but it's extended right out with all this battling now. And they're just draining each other's ERS as well, so...
Yeah, James has got a chance to keep his ERS, just pull ahead while these 2 are battling and only use it when he thinks he needs to.
Yeah, so I have a feeling I think Liam's going to be within DRS range as well this lap, but we've got an Aston Martin round in the first sector. Is that Mank?
That is Mank.
Yeah, yes.
King James now with a 3-second time penalty for the track limits.
But back up to the front, I think Mosh is going to make a move. He certainly is. Down the inside, and he has got that move well made before turn 1.
These 2 providing the entertainment so far tonight. They keep switching places. Ahmed Jaban with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. So that's 8 seconds he's got now.
He's not having the best of evenings, the Alfa Romeo driver.
He's not. He's only a reserve though, so he's not really in the contention for the championship anyway. But it's still disappointing not to get points.
Got Sanchez round in sector 1 by the looks of it.
Yeah, can't spin there.
Going again. Yeah, he can spin anywhere, mate.
Liam almost just touched the. Hey, was that a dig?
Only one
I didn't mean it personally, but
today,
if the shoe fits and all that.
Yeah, Jim has put in the chat. It's quite a malicious thing. I hope Marcus spins today. You've already won the championship.
Oh, Liam's
Jim.
gone. Liam has dropped it, coming out of spin curve. So not used to the dirty air. All that time he's made up, he is now lost and more again.
He's going to have to... What's best in this situation? Do you pit because you've just burnt your tyres a bit, or do you just carry on? Because would the mediums
Depends how
go
you're
to the
feeling
end?
on those tyres. Depends how you're feeling on the tyres. If you feel like your pace is still strong, stay out for a bit and perhaps out for a safety car, or you know, and catch a few others out, or you could just pit now and undercut everyone as much as you can, gain a bit of time back. But
that is true. Pistol Racing up to 5th now because Jen Serino also pitted as well. I think he's gone on to the softs. He's replaced his softs, 4 softs, so I don't know if there was any wing damage there. But he is committing to the 2-stop at the minute.
well, you say he's committed to the 2-stop, but you could be going for the 3-stop.
Yeah, he could be, but
You know, don't count all your chickens before they've hatched and all that.
that's true. You never know what could happen. Obviously, if a safety car comes out, then there's a possibility of 4 stops.
Absolutely, as the old famous saying out of the Dodgeball film goes, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
I don't think I've ever seen that film.
Oh, you need to watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to now, aren't I? Because
It's genuinely amazing. I think one of the all-time great comedies. But I digress. Back to the action.
as you say, back to the action. We got Mosh taking the inside line into turn 1. They're gonna go side by side into turn 1. Mosh does get the move, but Hawkeye has got the better traction by the looks of it, as he's still got the power down and keeps position coming into...
Oh, fantastic racing by these two.
It's a battle for the ages, this, in Tier 2.
Absolutely. Hawkeye just sending it back around the outside of the Ferrari and Mosh. That was an amazing bravery and commitment there. That was amazing to see. Loved it.
There was great awareness as well by Mosh not to get any run wide and cause any contact between the two on exit. But again, this fighting has helped James out. It's 2.7 the gap now to the lead, and these two are just falling back fighting. Maybe, I know they're on different teams, maybe it's time to start maybe working together instead of fighting, just to catch up to the lead. It's interesting to note as well, we have got Jen Serino on the back of King James. He is just dropped out of a second though. So these two still are fighting cars. We got Sanchez on the back of Mank at the bottom of the field. And he's now made a move on Mank as well. Mank spun it again. Mank not having the best of races tonight. But Mosh and Hawkeye both diving into the pits at the same time. None of them wants to try and make the undercut work or the overcut. Both pitting. Can Mosh's pit crew do a faster pit stop? No, they can't. Hawkeye comes back out in front as we have Pistol Racing diving into the pits just behind as well. As long with Super Calgon, it is time to switch to the mediums, these drivers think. And that's brought Neil. up to
Hawk Pie's
P4.
gone on the hards though, Mosher on the mediums, and we've also got Neil Moser who's joined in the battle and had to run a bit wide trying to avoid these guys. Can Hawk Pie make the jump on Neil Moser? No, he can't quite there. So it was all chaos exiting the pit lane, but that's an interesting strategy by Hawk Pie. He feels like the mediums aren't going to go to the end, or the tyre temperatures are better on the hards. So let's see how that one plays out.
It is interesting, and the also interesting thing to note is
King James has spun in the middle of the sector. King James has spun and is round. Has he got damage? I don't think he's got damage. Oh no, he does. Yeah, he has end plate damage on his front wing. So
is it bad enough to pit though? Has he already pit? Yeah, he has already pit as well. So
any sort of damage, and it's game over.
Obviously, damage does deteriorate on this game now as well, so it can just get worse.
And it does, as we see our race leader in the pits as well, covering off the undercut from those behind.
It's a smart choice, but he pops on the mediums, obviously hoping they'll go to the end. And I think, yeah, he's definitely going to come out ahead of Neil, who does have Hawkpie and Mosh in the fight. Jen Sereno has also joined the fight. So now it's a 4-car battle, sorry, for second place.
Absolutely. So I think that lap behind Neil Moser has cost Hawkpie and Mosher a bit. But I don't think it matters too much in the long run. James is running away with this race.
Talking about James, King James, a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Obviously trying to get a new front wing on that damaged Aston Martin. It's interesting to see the line that Hawkpie's taking through there. He takes it very wide, takes a lot of curb. Almost onto the grass, really.
Certainly does. I'm just going to leave you just for a couple of minutes, just pop into the loop. Be right back.
Yeah, man, no worries. So we've still got that big, massive 3-4 car battle for second place at the minute. Hawkpie still on the back of Neil Moser, who is 4 seconds behind his teammate. Neil Moser still needs to pit, though. So it's going to be interesting to see when he does actually just jump into the pits, because he's going to need to do it soon, because otherwise these tyres are just going to wear. The race looks like... Oh, Mosh has just sent it on Hawkpie, and he's caused a massive crash. Neil Moser is going to be affected massively by that. He's going into the pits anyway, but what just happened? Mosh is just parked on the grass. He's getting away again now. That has... Did Hawkpie just get away with that? Hawkpie, I think, just survived that. Jen Sereno as well. So that's put that 4-car battle down to 2, with Liam catching as well. Hawkpie and Jen Sereno very lucky to escape that. Mosh very lucky not to DNF himself, or... Who else did he crash in with? You have missed it, mate. You went to the toilet at the wrong time, mate.
What happened there? What have I missed?
Mosh just absolutely sent it in the final chicane and crashed with another driver.
Oh.
And took him and the other driver... Ah, it was Neil Moser. He crashed with Neil Moser. Neil Moser was pitting anyway.
Oh, dear.
But Neil Moser had to use the escape route to get into the pits just because of that massive send that Mosh done. I think he got a little bit impatient trying to overtake, and that's what happens as we got Jensen Reno through 130R, making a great move on the insides to get past Hawkpie. Obviously, Jensen... I'm going to call him Jensen. It's just easier. Is on the better tyres, as he is on the soft compounder tyres, whereas Hawkpie is on the hards. But Hawkpie getting past again, but takes it very wide and has to rejoin safely. That gives Jensen Reno the position again. This battling is bringing Liam back into the fight. Liam is closing ever so slightly. But the gap now to James is 4.4 and James is pulling away.
Absolutely, but he... Tell you what, if Genserino has a bit of pace on those softs, he could drag Hawkpie off into the fight.
That is true.
See if he's got the pace. He's got a bit of a train forming from second down to fifth. Everyone sat about a second apart from each other.
This could get interesting.
It certainly could do, absolutely, but it does look like James now has the pace advantage over Genserino at this point. He is pulling away from him slowly. So, in which case, Hawkpie is going to want to make a move on the Williams driver. Save being bottled up behind him. He does have DRS, he's close. Doesn't have much battery though, but Genserino has even less. So let's see whether he can make a move into the first corner.
Liam also not looking that great on ERS at the minute. They do try to make a move though. Hawkpie still... Wait, I'm confused. Who's in second?
Yeah, Hawkpie's gone round the outside of Genserino into the first corner. Made the move stick. Nice job there. And now he's going to hope to pull a gap. Pull away from Liam, who is caught back up to this fight after spinning earlier on. He's done well to catch back up to these guys.
We have
got another spinner in the third sector.
Who is that?
That is Aeon Blades. Aeon Blades in the Williams is round at Spoon Curve.
A few drivers spinning at Spoon Curve. I thought it'd be through sector 1 would be the worst part, but we've had 2 spins so far in Spoon Curve. Obviously, Mank's been finding it very difficult to deal with sector 1 as well. Liam right on the back of Jensen now, coming through Spoon Curve as
King James is retired.
King has retired.
And that's brought out a safety car as well. That is going to spice things up somewhat.
His teammate has just spun at the exact same corner and almost takes himself out as well. That was almost 2 Aston Martins out at the same corner. And as you said, now we do have the full-blown safety car out. Let's just hope, for your sake, that it's not the Aston Martin. Otherwise, we know you'll be going on mute.
As James is going in the pit, the race leader pits. Hawkpie is going to hang it out. He's staying out on those hards. He's going to gain track position. Who else stays out? Ahmed Chavan does as well, so he's going to be the rear gunner for Hawkpie. Does anyone else choose to stay out? Pistol's staying out and will jump these guys as well. So Hawkpie is going to have a 2-car buffer between him and James. James choosing to go on fresh mediums, not even going on fresh softs, so that seems an odd strategy for me.
It could be, but there's still a good fair few laps left. But then again, by the time the safety car comes in, softs would actually go to the end, so that is
exactly.
quite...
It's only tyre temperatures you got to really think about.
Yeah, Super Calgon choosing to go on the softs, which is probably the best option. He still has that penalty though. What is the penalty situation? So the penalty situation at the minute is Amber Chaban with 8 seconds, Super Calgon with 3. We got Mosh, who has dropped right back down to 11 after that send in the final chicane, who is on 3 seconds as well, and we've got Mank on 3 seconds.
So this has blown this race wide open. This is spicing things up, as the safety car always does. Always throws a bit of a curveball in the mix.
It is, and at the minute we've got an Aston Martin out of the race. We've got an Aston Martin in 13th, and we've currently got one in the lead as well. And yes, I am talking about the safety car there. But it's going to be interesting to see how all these guys handle the new car, the new physics, and the handling model.
It certainly will be.
It's going to be much more of a challenge. Obviously, the new car's having a little bit less downforce, and obviously significantly less grip in the slower speed corners, which is going to prove to be a very difficult challenge, especially if some of these are using no assists.
I think as well, they seem to prefer being set up lower and stiffer, apparently, and that's going to cause problems over the curbs, which are already more problematic than they were on this year's game, so I'm going to have to see how that one plays out.
But in real life as well, you do see drivers try to avoid some of the curbs. So I get the fact that some people don't like it, but I kind of like it because it's a challenge and it's a little bit more realistic and immersive.
Oh, 100%. I think it should be more in line with realism.
I get what they're going for. They're going for like a simcade kind of game just because they want the casual players to buy it as well and play it. But also you got these settings that you can turn off and turn on, so you can make the game as easy or as difficult as you want.
This is absolutely true.
I think
certainly can.
Setting up the car on the new game is going to be increasingly more difficult as well, because on this game it was interesting to know, and I didn't know they'd done it until they changed the setup menus for the aerodynamics. But I didn't realize on this game that 111 is different on every track.
Yes, it certainly is. Well, just slight changes, so yeah, it's going to add a different element into next year's car setup.
It is, because it's going to be equal. 1 to 50 is going to be the same on all tracks now, so if I had known that in the past, I might have run 1-1 at Monaco.
I did try that the other day, actually. Well, my other league was doing 2 races, and the second was a reverse grid race, and it was at Monaco, of all places. So I thought I'd try 1-1 wings, but it in practice, but it didn't work. Trust me, not worth it. I was monstrous on the straight, but anyway, back to the race in hand.
The safety car is heading in this lap. Hawkpie controlling the pace of the field at the minute. He didn't really slow down too much.
As well.
Ahmed
Shaban is in the gravel trap. He is spun.
He has had a shocking race start, but Hawkpie already with a second gap. Obviously, Pistol being on the better tyres at the minute, but they are going to fall off towards the last couple of laps. But can Hawkpie keep him at bay until then? And we've got Super Calgon, 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether that was a game glitch as he's gone past Ahmed Shaban by any chance.
That is possible, and if so, then that one will be removed, I think, because it's only fair.
I'll have to see what is submitted to the stewards after, and
yeah, it all depends really on the pace of what Ahmed Shaban was doing when he rejoined. As we got
Liam's going down the order like a stone here.
It is. Neil Moser just made a great move through the hairpin there.
Well, yeah, Super Calgon passed him, and then Neil Moser came through as well, and he was actually ghosted, so I don't know whether he had a bit of an issue or not. I missed the first half of that.
I think I caught it. I'm not really sure, but it was a great move from Neil. I don't think I caught Super Calgon's move.
No, never did I. But there we go. Pete is very close to the back of Hawkpie. He runs a bit wide. He's getting so close in his dirty air. It's Pete looking to take the race lead at this point in time. No DRS, so we're just relying on battery power and slipstream to get the run on him. Hawkpie's doing a bit of weaving to break that slipstream.
He doesn't want to weave too much to be classed as illegal weaving. Hawkpie runs very wide. A Pistol
and got himself a 3-second time penalty for his troubles as well, so that could play dividends.
That could. Pistol doing very well to be aware of Hawkpie closing the door there through the turn 2 and backed out of going down the inside and sticking their nose in. It was a great awareness from him there.
And don't count out Super Calgon here. He's on fresh softs and catching up to the back of these guys. He's right all over the back of Gent Serena already. He does have a penalty, but we don't, we had a feeling it could potentially be a penalty that may end up being removed. Again, that would be down to the stewards. We haven't seen that, and he's gone just round the outside of Genserino at the hairpin. What a move. That was just out-tractions him on the exit. And up to 4th place, and on the move to the race leaders here.
That was as clean as you like through there. As Ahmed Shaban making moves again through the midfield, back up to 7th place, just got past Liam on the...
Isn't bad going on the hards.
Especially considering they're 10 laps old and had to deal with a spin as well.
Yeah, Pete is getting very close to the back of Hawkeye here. He's getting the run on him. I think he could be in with a good shout going into turn 1. No DRS just yet. It has been enabled, but we haven't got it this time around. It's going to be very close into turn 1. Pete touches the curb, but bravery shoots him forward and ahead of Hawkeye. What a move.
That was beautiful. Obviously, Hawkeye clinching to the back of Pete now at the minute. Trying to gain that position back. Pete on the better tyres. Can Pete now pull away? Or is Hawkeye going to come back at him? Obviously, Hawkeye at the... was it the... No. Hawkeye opted not to pit along with Pistol. Which means, come lap 25 with 2 laps to go, Hawkeye might have the better tyres.
He certainly could. One to keep an eye on as Neil Mozer's gone down. He's made a bit of a mistake. So...
That's let Shaban.
Liam Esker's gone in the back of Genserino there and lost part of his front wing. Just caught the back end of that. Looked like he just ran straight in the back of Genserino in the braking zone into the hairpin. Neil Moser is going further down. He's lost his front wing. Neil Moser has lost his end plate. And I hate to say it, but I think that has all but sealed the title chance of the McLaren driver. I think his teammate's going to snatch this one from him.
That means... Have we... It's going to be interesting as well to see the shuffle between Tier 1 and Tier 2. Who's going to come up and who's going to come down. We know that James is probably going to come up considering he's won the championship. But no official release of driver swaps at the minute. I do believe.
Absolutely, as we see both Liam and Neil in the pits to get their wings changed. No surprise there. Only a last-minute safety car can help save their races at this point. As we see Pete running very nicely, very strongly indeed, out in front, just measuring himself at this point in time. He is getting close to that 1 second window, but it's probably in his interest to keep within a second of Hawkeye, because give Hawkeye some DRS and stop James coming past and attacking him.
That is true, but he wants to try and keep it towards the back end of that second. He doesn't want him to be too close, otherwise he's going to be vulnerable from a move come the DRS straight.
As we do see Super Calgon on the back of these guys now, he has used all of his ERS to get up to the back of them.
But now that he is in that train, he can use his DRS and save some ERS and still be within a chance of making some moves.
Look how much drive he's got, and he's going to make a move for 3rd place as well. Look at that, straight past James.
That was a great move from Super Calgon.
He's using the advantage of those soft tyres.
Still got that penalty to deal with though, so he's got to want to pull a gap. He's got to try and get past Pistol within the next couple of laps. But he's still got Hawkeye and Pistol to deal with before he can actually pull ahead and gain. Absolutely.
This is all to play for still. He looks like the man on the move at the moment. As Hawkeye is much closer to Pete this lap around, isn't he? He's pushing him around a little bit here.
He is. He's within 5/10 at the minute, dropping down slightly, but it all depends how he negotiates the spoon curve.
One to watch out for as well is Ahmed Shaban, who has spun on very old hards, but is closed back up to the back of James here and is showing some incredible pace. considering he is on the slowest compounder tyre, as Neil Moser's had a moment, but looks like, yeah, he's in the gravel in the Sector 1.
That's a shame for Neil. Obviously, he was hoping for a bit of a better race than he's actually having. And you're on about Ahmed Shaban, but he is still got 8 seconds worth of time penalties, and it is interesting to note that Super Calgon is now on 8 seconds as well. So that time penalty is really going to affect these two drivers.
But as you say that, Ahmed Shaban has already got past James. He's made light work of him there.
He's got to catch up to the rest, though. Oh, that was a great yawn.
Love it. Hawkeye still pushing the back of Pete here, as Liam sets fastest lap of the race so far.
He did pit as well, which is so he has gone for the fastest lap, but to actually get the point for it, he still needs to get into P10. The drivers ahead of him do have time penalties, but it's only 3 seconds, so he's still got a lot of time to gain before he actually gets that point for the fastest lap. And that's not to say any of these drivers ahead could potentially still take it, even though they're on worn tyres. It's a bit of a task, but it's not impossible, as Neil Moser is pitting right now, which, for a wing change, he could also attempt to go for the fastest lap as well. I think Marcus has just died.
I have died, yeah.
Oh god.
No.
Super Calgon.
No, I was just replying to a message.
It's nice to have friends, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But Super Calgon with the DRS has got past Hawk by now. Ahmed Shaban within a second, probably next time round, considering his pace right now. Hawkeye could lose out in some positions here.
He certainly could. He's got that penalty which will see him drop down the order. He got a good gap over James Snail at the moment. James, who looked in command of this race for the most part up until the safety car, just doesn't seem to have had the pace since the restart, really, even on those fresh mediums. He's been there, but he just hasn't looked like he's had pace that's been threatening of anyone of making any moves, as we see Ahmed Shaban having a look at Hawkeye, but the door is very quickly closed as Hawkeye had a bit of a moment there on the exit. Sector 1, Liam is out. Liam has crashed out.
Are we at that point of the race now where there is a definite no safety car, though? I think he's out the way anyway, but we won't even see what's happened to him, as Neil's too far back to have a look. Talking about having a look, Sanchez looked like he was having a look, but he is just too far back from Jensen Reno. But Sanchez is trying to join in on that fight for the top spots. The gap is closing ever so slightly each lap.
It's going to get very spicy for the lead of the race and also for third place here. Both second and fourth are all over the back of first and third.
That is ERS lights are flashing at the front between the first two. And Super Calgon goes to the inside line. He does make the move on Pete. He makes it stick. Obviously, them softs playing a great advantage in that. They will be entering the fallout probably around next lap. But at the minute, they are still good. And he has got the lead of the race. But Pistol still with the net lead as of right now. If he doesn't make a mistake, he could still potentially win this race with that time penalty. Ahmed Shaban, though, has got past Hawkeye in the process. I missed that. With only 2 laps remaining of this race, we have a yellow flag in Sector 1. It looks like there might have been a crash between 2 drivers. It looked like both of them were stopped. There's no damage to the Aeon Blades as Aeon Blades spins. He's not out of the race. There's no damage towards Mosh's Ferrari either. Still got that yellow flag in Sector 1. There you go. Mosh is now moving, so that's not a major effect.
Ahmed Shaban is all over the back of Pete as well. Pete doesn't have to fight too hard with these penalties. All he has to do is just follow the follow Super Calgon and Ahmed Shaban closely, and he will still pick up the race victory here.
Yeah, there's no point trying to fight too hard. He's just gotta try not to wear off his tyres trying to defend from Ahmed, who at the end of this race has had incredible pace considering from the start of the race and his pace at the start to now. Maybe he's just getting his setup is built for the end of the race, maybe not for being heavy on fuel. Discord is going mad at the minute.
As he makes contact with the back of Pete there.
As Neil Moser has retired from the race, it is on track, and hopefully he's ghosted because he is in the middle of the track, but we will not see a safety car because it's near the end of the race.
And that, unfortunately, the Mid-Shaban has now put it in the wall as well. He has lost the back end and gone in the wall. He's still going though, fortunately, but has taken off most of his front wing.
Hawkeye has done the same as well.
Oh, I missed that as well, and he's actually retired.
That is an on-track retirement because I think his car was still moving, I believe.
Yes, it was, yeah. Well, he's parked up, but I know sometimes the game glitches into a weird retirement, but we'll have to see.
Well, we have seen it before with Ahmed Shaban, actually, when he was reserving in the McLaren at the USA. Just seen a McLaren with 3 wheels going around the track, which was quite a spectacle to behold, to be honest. But currently, Pete has fallen back significantly from Super Calgon now. 2 seconds, but obviously Super Calgon's still got 8 seconds, and potentially 5 of that could be removed depending on the scenario in which that 5-second penalty was incurred. But at the minute, Pistol looking good to win this race on the final lap, as Mosh just made a move on Ahmed Shaban in the pit.
It certainly has.
But coming through the hairpin now, we have Super Calgon still leading this race. Well, on track anyway. Coming through
I think we have a question mark over the 5-second penalty. We didn't see it. It may be one that was unfair. He hasn't served it in the pits after, so if it was an unfair penalty, he may get it removed. As Genserino now retires from the session and crashes out. That's in a very, very unusual place to retire.
That is. At first I thought it was on the hairpin, but it's...
No.
How's he lost traction there?
Unless he's had contact with another driver, but we will find that in the steward's office after.
That is true, but currently we're on board with Super Calgon as he comes across the line to finish in P2, P3. He's dropping down, but Pistol Racing does take the win here at Japan for the final race of Season 4 for the OBF1 Tier 2 Championship. That leaves James, with the championship win. So James is the Tier 2 champion, and that means James is probably going to be having a few drinks tonight. That was quite an incredible race. There was a lot of action through that race, more than usual, thanks to the grid being so full compared to what it has been the last couple of weeks. It's great to see a full grid for once. What was your thoughts on that race?
It was action-packed, wasn't it? It was lots of really, really good clean racing. Some very hard, fair racing. Shame Neil Moser never really made an impact on this race, unfortunately. Hard as he tried, and unfortunately suffered the consequences. James just keeping a solid race to snatch that Tier 2 championship. Pete, I mean, what can you say?
Fucking send it.
Just was always there, wasn't he, through the whole first half of the race. Decided not to pit under safety car. It was a brave call, but he had the pace. Took the track position, and ran away with it.
That is true, exactly. That was a great race from Tier 2. Hopefully you guys will see the same thing in about 15 minutes from the Tier 1 drivers. But for now, that is the end of the Tier 2 Championship. We will see you for the new game for the start of Season 5. And don't forget to join us for the Tier 1 race. Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
And we will see you.